Hey there, deep dive buddy. You ready to decode the cryptosphere today? We've got all your personalized market intel right here, going way beyond just the basic price updates.
Think of it as your cheat sheet to this crypto roller coaster.
Exactly.
All the need-to-know insights, none of the jargon overload.
We're talking market trends, political whispers, even a little crypto crime thriller. All in under 10 minutes. Because, hey, time is precious. Speaking of trends, the crypto charts have been looking a little like a heart rate monitor this week, up, down, a few unexpected spikes. We've got Crypto Deep Dive's market report right here. The numbers tell quite a story. Bitcoin's holding relatively steady, Ethereum's making a little jump, but then we've got Solana and XRP both making some impressive gains.
Right.
Even as the overall market takes a breather. What's the inside scoop on these overachievers?
That's a great question. It highlights a key strategy for smart investors, looking beyond the big names. Everyone knows Bitcoin and Ethereum, but Solana and XRP are like those up-and-coming bands, the ones about to hit it big.
Yeah.
They've been quietly building innovative tech, forming strategic partnerships. Solana, for example, is becoming a favorite for decentralized apps because of its speed and low transaction costs, while XRP is finding its niche in cross-border payments.
So it's like checking out the indie music scene before it goes mainstream. You might just discover your next favorite band, or in this case, your next profitable investment.
Exactly.
And speaking of unexpected winners, let's talk about the Doge in the room, literally. Dogecoin's up over 27% this week. I know. It started as a meme, but clearly people are putting their money where their memes are. What's fueling this Doge rocket? Should we be buckling up for a ride?
Well, Dogecoin is the perfect example of how social trends and investor sentiment can really influence the crypto market. It might not have the most robust technology, but it has something just as powerful, a massive and incredibly enthusiastic community.
So it's like that one friend who can get everyone hyped up to go to karaoke, even if they're tone deaf.
Yeah,
Sometimes enthusiasm is its own currency.
that's right.
But let's not forget those under-the-radar gems that could be the next big thing. We're talking about projects like Koala AI, Penumbra, and even the mysteriously named Folgruk. Fill us in. What are these projects all about, and why should our listener be paying attention?
This is where things get really interesting for adventurous investors. These emerging projects, they represent the cutting edge of the crypto world. Think of them as startups,
Yeah.
with the potential to disrupt entire industries.
Wow.
For example, Koala AI is all about harnessing the power of artificial intelligence to make decentralized finance more accessible and user-friendly. Penumbra, on the other hand, that's all about enhancing privacy and security in a world where data is king.
So Koala AI is like the friendly face of AI, while Penumbra is the digital bodyguard of the crypto world.
Yeah.
And FWOG.
FWOG. Well, FWOG is still a bit of an enigma even to seasoned crypto enthusiasts. Sometimes that air of mystery, it can be a huge draw for investors who are willing to take on a little extra risk for the potential of a big reward.
Okay, so we've got the steady players, the meme-powered rockets, and the enigmatic newcomers.
Right.
It's a lot to keep track of, but that's why we're here, right? But the crypto world isn't a self-contained bubble. It's influenced by real-world events. There's one event looming large on the horizon: the upcoming U.S. elections.
Right, and it seems like the crypto market is already placing its bets. CoinShares just released a report showing a massive $2.2 billion inflow into digital investment products. And the word on the street is that a lot of those bets are hoping for a Republican win.
A cool $2.2 billion riding on a political outcome. Talk about high stakes. What's the connection here? Why is the crypto world seemingly backing one side of the aisle?
Well, it all boils down to anticipation, right?
Okay.
Anticipation about future regulations. The crypto community, they're hoping for a regulatory landscape that fosters innovation rather than stifles it.
Right.
There's a perception that a Republican win might lead to policies more favorable to crypto's growth, particularly in areas like taxation and DeFi oversight.
So it's a bit like those early days of a new industry. Everyone's waiting to see which way the regulatory winds will blow. But even if those winds seem to be blowing in a crypto-friendly direction, should investors be, celebrating a victory lap before the race is even run?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? Political predictions, well, they're notoriously tricky. And even if the favored outcome occurs, translating that into concrete policy takes time, negotiation.
Right.
It's important to remember that governments around the world are still grappling with how to approach crypto, and the U.S. is no exception.
It's a delicate dance between fostering innovation and maintaining stability, right? And speaking of stability, there's another player in this game that has everyone on edge: The Federal Reserve. I'm sure you saw that research paper from the Federal Reserve Bank of Minneapolis that really shook things up. They suggested governments might have to consider, get this, taxing or even banning Bitcoin to maintain control over their economies. That's a pretty big statement. What's the thought process there? How worried should we really be?
Yeah, it's definitely a controversial paper, that's for sure. It sparked a lot of debate, and for good reason. The core concern expressed by some economists is that Bitcoin, with its fixed supply and decentralized nature, could potentially undermine traditional monetary policy tools. Essentially, they're worried about maintaining control over things like inflation and interest rates in a world where Bitcoin gains widespread adoption.
So it's almost like two different schools of thought clashing: the centralized world of traditional finance versus the decentralized spirit of crypto. But a ban just seems so, I don't know, extreme. Is that really a realistic scenario?
Well, it's important to remember this is just one research paper. It's not an official policy proposal, at least not yet.
Yeah.
However, it does highlight the tensions that can arise as crypto increasingly enters the mainstream. Governments are grappling with how to balance innovation with existing financial systems, and those conversations, well, they can get pretty complex.
It's like trying to fit a square peg into a round hole. But instead of shapes, it's revolutionary technology and centuries-old financial systems. And it's not just governments trying to figure this out. Even crypto CEOs are getting in on the political action. We saw Coinbase CEO Brian Armstrong publicly endorsing several pro-crypto Republican Senate candidates. What's the significance of a move like that? And should everyday investors even care who a CEO is supporting?
This is a prime example of how the lines between crypto and politics, they're blurring, especially here in the US.
Yeah.
While individual endorsements don't guarantee specific policy outcomes, they show how invested the industry is in shaping the political landscape. For investors, this means understanding the political climate surrounding crypto while it's becoming increasingly important.
It's another layer to factor into your investment decisions, right alongside market analysis and technical know-how. But hey, that's what makes this space so dynamic. Okay, last but not least, let's switch gears to a story that sounds like it's straight out of a spy thriller: Monero. This privacy coin is known for being virtually untraceable, which has made it a favorite for folks who value their financial anonymity. But something happened recently that has everyone buzzing. Japanese authorities managed to use Monero transaction tracking to bust a scammer ring. This is reportedly the first time Monero has been cracked in a criminal investigation. Does this spell the end for privacy coins as we know them?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? This case has been a real head-scratcher for the crypto community.
Yeah.
On one hand, it seems like a major win for law enforcement, proving that even the most privacy-focused coins aren't entirely impenetrable. But the details of how they managed to track those transactions are still under wraps.
So it's like finding a hidden door in a supposedly inescapable fortress. We know it's possible, but we don't know the exact mechanism yet. Does this mean our listeners should be ditching their privacy coins and heading for the hills?
Not necessarily. This case could be an outlier. A unique set of circumstances that allowed authorities to exploit a vulnerability we don't fully understand yet. It's certainly a wake-up call for anyone who assumed Monero was 100% untraceable.
Right.
But it doesn't necessarily spell, doom and gloom for privacy coins as a whole.
It's a reminder that the world of crypto is constantly evolving. Today's breakthrough could be tomorrow's outdated technology, and that's why we do these deep dives, right? To keep you, our favorite co-explorer, ahead of the curve.
Exactly. It's all about staying informed, asking the right questions, and maybe having a little fun along the way.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Big thanks for joining us on this wild ride through the cryptoverse.
Anytime. Always a pleasure to geek out about crypto with a fellow enthusiast.